What's up, everyone? This is your boy RCR Mooley Main, and we back with another podcast. It's the Elephant in the Room podcast. Why is it called the Elephant in the Room? Because I'm the mother freaking elephant. That's right. But today's a sad, yesterday was a sad day, but Juwan Gary entered the transfer portal, and I might make a video going, I'm going to give my quick thoughts on this, not make this too long, but I might go back and give my thoughts on this, like go deeper analysis of his game. But Juwan Gary, I feel, is a very big loss. It's for our front court. He was one of our best players and our best scorers in the front court, if not our best scorer in the front court. It may not have seemed that way from the season, but it was mainly from the accumulation of injuries he had. And if you looked at the game he had against Notre Dame, it was pretty clear that with the effort he was giving, it seemed like he was way back into like the level of play that he was playing pre-injuries. And what makes him such a fan favorite is not only like the Twitter videos, I should say, and the Twitter edits and memes he puts, and the personality, and also the hustle he gives on the floor, the hard hat points that he usually gets, but his style of play is very fun to watch. In terms of basically almost all of his shots come from cutting, from cutting, and cuts to the basket. So a lot of times when like the guards or someone is driving in the paint, he cuts the basket and is able to get a good layup. And the good thing about Juwan Gary is, and I've said it before, I don't know if it was here or from the Twitter Spaces, but he's a very high leaper. But not only is he a high leaper, it's one thing to be someone who can jump really high, but it's another thing that you get off of the ground and you leap very high with ease. That makes it when you can leap quicker off the ground. That gives you more. I would say I don't want to say leverage, but for one, it helps. Jumping ability is not about power; it's about how quickly you can get off the ground. But two, it makes it harder to block, and that's why he plays bigger than what he is, because he's 6'6", and even though he's like plays power forward or whatnot, he genuinely plays like he's 6'8", 6'9", and I don't see his height being really a disadvantage, because, like I said, not because of how high he gets off the ground, but how quickly he can get off the ground, and also how high he can reach. So when he's driving, when he's cutting into the basket and he gets the ball fed to him, when he leaps, he not only gets quickly off the ground, but his mechanics around the rim, you can, if you watch his play, he usually keeps his head high and his eyes at the rim. He's really good at adjusting the position of the ball in his hand. Like, let's say if someone comes up to block it and stuff, he's very good at positioning it and putting it in a space to where he can shoot the ball easily, instead of having to just kind of throw the layup over over a blocker or anything. So even if someone came and contested the shot, he's still really good at making these contested shots, because his mechanics and his fundamentals around the rim are very good. He also has really good like footwork when he's driving to the rim, which I know that's not really saying anything. These are college athletes, but it's just something I'm just really trying to emphasize, that his ability to score around the rim is so good. I believe coming into SEC play, he was shooting like 85%. I remember hearing some stat. I might be completely wrong, to tell you the truth, because it was something I remember hearing on like a broadcast when I was watching a game, and they were saying it was like 85% around the rim, because usually he gets cuts, and when he is cutting to the basket, there's always either some help defender having to come over, or he has this guy beat. So he already has an angle he can make for himself. And if not, once again, he has very good control of the ball off the drive, or going towards the rim, I should say. And he's really good at just making good finishes. And when you pair that jumping ability with his mechanics, with also his strength, and also his size, that helps create even more separation. Yeah, great player, very quick, and also I talk about his cutting ability and stuff. And there have been games where it will be like one game he'll have like 2 points, and the next game he'll have 19. And if he didn't have injuries, I'm very certain he would be like around a 10 or like a 10-point double-digit scorer on the team. Because even when people would game plan against him, a lot of the times the thing is, when you're guarding him at the wing, he's so quick that his first step when he's cutting is just so quick that it's hard for like the defender to even react enough and be able to come and help in time. So the primary defender on him. So he would end up. So even when the defenders are expecting it, they still end up getting beat. And there in the games where he had like 2 points or whatnot, or there have been games where they definitely sag off of him, or definitely keep an eye, or have a big man that's like a really skilled big man who can step up and is anticipating his cuts. As long as that there's someone else, that there are other guards helping on the defense for the dribble drive. So yeah, he still was able to get points no matter what. And even in games like, was it against Houston, where in like the first possession he just turned around and hit a three? That's huge, because if he can hit threes consistently, and we've seen him take terrible 3-point shots, but we've also seen games where he's able to hit 1 or 2. Generally, he's one of the worst 3-point shooters on our team. Top, like, one of the worst. So that is a problem. But in those couple of games where he was able to hit, the fact that he's able to hit it makes teams want to not stag off of him too much. Of course, in those games, even when he would hit a couple of threes, defenders would still like leave him open. Says if he basically saying if he hits 5 threes, we're gonna let him hit 5 threes. We don't care. We're gonna let Juwan Gary shoot. But even then, they're still anticipating his cutting ability, or just sometimes they would still go up and guard him in the wing, like being close to him at the wing. I'm not quite sure why. I'm not gonna act like I'm like some basketball 100% smart expert or anything, but I guess it kind of does make sense if we, because you don't want to go in the paint while Juwan Gary's there, because he can probably still hit like some open mid-range or something, or just hit like a floater. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's just, given everything I've said about him, his main problem is obviously he needs the plays. Most of his points are assisted to him, or he needs someone to make a play for him. In terms of his dribbling, it's pretty awful. It's really awful. As someone who's watched Juwan Gary at least try to dribble, especially in like, I don't want to. Was it the SEC tournament when last year? Not this year, but the year before with Herb. Even though he played an amazing series, he would try to dribble, and let's just say it wasn't good. And that's why I believed, if not to say I think this is completely true, but if he was to develop his handles, he could be. I think that's more important than developing his 3-point shot. At the same time, there's many different cases as to why that's not true, and I could defend that side too. But I'm just saying, in terms of just Juwan Gary and just my fandom of his, I just personally, from personal preference, want to just see him develop good handles so he's just driving all the time. That's just out of fandom. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting caught up, but yeah, so Juwan Gary, like, he's a good player. His game is athleticism and shots around the rim. In terms of his defense is actually really good, because he has the size to guard guys who are bigger than him. Not like centers, like 7-foot centers. Like, you're not going to put him on like some 7-foot guy who does post moves all the time. But he's good enough to where he's like, especially fours, where his lateral quickness is really good, and he can switch. That's a big part of his game, and the big thing that you're going to get on his defense is a switching ability. So that's good about Juwan Gary. Even if Auburn fans say that Juwan Gary is what's his name, Jabari Smith's son, like, yeah, Jabari Smith is like a generational player, and also he, in that first game, I want to say he was shooting a lot of mid-rangers. His game is making difficult mid-range shots, which is hard for anyone, really. And with the way Juwan plays defense, I'm not surprised that he would have a problem. But in the second match, yes, even though Auburn beat us by way worse, and Juwan didn't play full time, didn't even play that much on Jabari. The possessions I saw, he actually did a pretty good job limiting his shots. So, yeah, his defense is borderline elite. I wouldn't quite say elite, because if he plays too close to a ball handler, sometimes he can get beat. Even though he's very quick on his feet, he still may have trouble with like positioning and whatnot, and just footwork. But his lateral quickness is there. It's genuinely there. In terms of why exactly he gets beat at times, I would have to go back and watch tape on him, and give you like a better analysis on that. But yeah, this is just my quick thoughts. Guys, let me know what you think about Juwan Gary. I personally made a video, I talked like in like a podcast, but never uploaded it, like a year ago, saying like Juwan Gary, the next Herb Jones, question marks, and I knew that would be a lot to ask, and that's like, don't compare him to Herb Jones, but it's just his ability to get to the rim was so amazing. And also, if he can develop his ball handling skills and his playmaking ability, then yeah, I would love to see him just develop into that kind of player. He's been in the system for 3 years, so to see him leave, like, he's actually our most experienced player in the system right now. So to see him leave is kind of concerning. So no one on our team has been in the Alabama system for more than 2 years, assuming Quinterly doesn't return. So yeah, that's all the thoughts I have. I just aired out everything I had to say. I guess if you want me to analyze into a little more depth, just let me know. Leave it in the comments. I appreciate the Bama community and anyone, whoever sports affiliation you are. I appreciate you checking out my podcast, and thank you all. Peace.